Hi. I'm making my sourdough bread, and I have a bowl on a scale. I made starter last night. 200 grams of starter. And 575 grams of water. The water is filtered and it's about 93 degrees Fahrenheit. My starter works a lot better with 90-degree water. If your starter isn't working, you might want to try warmer water when you make your dough. I'm going to do 16 grams of rye flour. I don't like a lot of rye because rye does not have gluten and it gets kind of gelatinous or gummy. And then 80 grams of spelt flour. Spelt flour is an ancient wheat and it has a nutty flavor and I like it. So there. Okay. 704 grams of bread flour. Poor guy. And one last thing. 50 grams of wheat germ. This is toasted wheat germ and it adds like a nutty flavor, a wheaty flavor. I just mix it with a metal spoon, and then once it's mixed together, you let it sit for at least 30 minutes for the autolyse period. I haven't added salt yet, and that's on purpose. During the autolyse, there is some flour hydrating that goes on and some other stuff that's really good for your bread. So just has to be shaggy. You don't need to fully mix it. And I mix in a plastic bowl I got from an Asian supermarket. I find that this is much easier to clean than glass. If you mix this in a glass or metal bowl, the dough really sticks to it. So after I'm done making bread, I let it sit and the flour just flakes right off. Okay, so the autolyse is over. I'm going to add 50 grams of water and 20 grams of salt. I usually use kosher salt, but not something that will be worked in. So finer salt, you don't want big rock salt because then you'll just have big chunks of it. And kosher salt because iodine would have a negative effect on the bacteria and yeast. So to work it in, you kind of have to split up the dough with your fingers because it is one big lump. It's kind of fun. And you just want to make sure that you're distributing the salt really evenly. very scientific process. So now I'll knead it a little bit in the bowl just to bring it together. And this bread is made using the stretch and fold technique. So because it's a high hydration dough, you can do everything, all the kneading happens in the bowl. I don't have to take it out for the kneading process. So now it's getting kind of tight, harder to work with. And I'm gonna let it rest for 15 minutes. And I will do a stretch and fold every 15 minutes for 4 turns, and then every 30 minutes 2 times. So 6 total stretch and folds, 15 minutes in between the first 4 and 30 minutes in between the last 2. So I've done 5 stretch and folds. I keep track with toothpicks. It's easy for me. Get your hand wet, and this is the final stretch and fold. Just lift gently. You don't want to pop all the holes. I don't know if you can tell, but it is a lot fluffier. It's grown in size. And then this is the final development of gluten, and then it's going to rise just like this for maybe 2 hours, and then it'll get shaped for the final rise. And I'll be back to show you that. Okay, that boy is pretty puffy. So this tool will be the bowl scraping tool. I'm going to take it out of its bowl here, and you just want to gently tip it so you don't deflate it. It got pretty big. Okay. And now I use my bench scraper to cut it in half. This is approximate. For the shaping, this is the pre-shaping. There's going to be 2 shapings, so you fold each side over, top goes over, and then for the bottom, pull it up and then roll it. And so now I'm going to use my bench scraper to tighten it. Just a little bit. And then this will go to rest. Really bubbly, very bouncy and airy. And I'll cover it and let it rest for 20 minutes, and I'll do a little bit more shaping, and we'll put it in the banetons, which is a linen lined basket that will hold the shape while it does the final proof. Okay, the resting phase is over. So I'll do the final shaping. This is the top of the loaf, so I'm going to sprinkle it with flour and then flip it. Do the same shaping where you bring in the sides, and then the top, and then the bottom. Trying to build tension in the surface of the dough, so that when it bakes in the oven, this tension will keep the dough from spreading out and it'll rise up instead of flattening. I'm just rounding out the shape. You don't want it to be super, super tight. Let it rest. Do the second one. I'm gonna pop this big hole. I just pinch my fingers. So this is the banneton. I've sprinkled it with flour. And I'll flip the loaf over and just center it in there. And then this will get covered with plastic, and I'm gonna let it rise overnight in the refrigerator. Yes, we have to wait until tomorrow to bake. See you tomorrow. Okay, so it is early morning. I have already preheated my cast iron combo cooker in a 500-degree oven for 20 minutes. I sprinkled a layer of cornmeal on the bottom. That helps the bread not stick. So I'm going to flip. The dough in very carefully because the pan's really hot. And I have a razor blade. I'm going to do the scoring pattern. You want to go deep, but not super deep. And to get an ear, which is like a crusty little bit, you want to go sort of parallel to the bread. So I'm going to put the lid on. And it'll go in the oven for 20 minutes covered at 450 and 20 minutes uncovered. Hi. So both loaves are baked. They have a nice bubbly crust. That's from the high hydration doughs. They have a lot of water in them. It's baked but not burnt. I did pull it out 2 minutes early because I saw it was getting pretty dark and I didn't want to go too far. So I use my chef's knife and I'm going to cut it in half. And this is the crumb. It's pretty open. That's what high hydration doughs have, a lot of air bubbles. There's more gluten formation, and the dough itself is lighter. When you have a really dense dough, it can't lift because it's too heavy. So if you ever have a bread that came out really dense, you probably had too much flour and not enough water. It smells good. So to store it, I will slice it and then put it in a Ziploc freezer bag to freeze because I can't get through this fast enough. It's usually just me eating it, and so I have to store it. But it stores really well in the freezer.